Do. Kelley.
Welcome back.
Been a long week.
Has it?
Feels that way. I know we both feel a little tired.
Yeah, I'm definitely tired.
A little wasted right now.
But I mean, mine's more just I'm still trying to figure out how to sleep with my arm situation. It's getting a little better, but last night was not very good.
Progress.
Yeah. I mean, I went to physical therapy again yesterday, and I had a pretty good breakthrough, or not breakthrough, but just milestone. Like, I started using this like pulley thing they have set up, and I was able to like pull this arm up to almost straight up above my head, which is pretty huge.
Yeah.
My therapist says that I'm doing really good and I'm ahead of schedule in terms of therapy.
All right, I like that.
So, yeah.
Because that was news last time that you had, I think, like a 6-week window, and then it went up to like a 22 window or something like that.
Well, I mean, my doctor prescribed 4 to 6 weeks of physical therapy, and then when I went to physical therapy, they said 16 to 20.
Right.
So I still don't know. Got to follow up with my actual doctor next week. So I'll see what he says, and I'll take his word for it. Although I was talking to my physical therapist yesterday, and she said that here in a couple weeks, she wanted to do some of that cupping stuff, like all the athletes do.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's real cool. I want to do that.
Right before Colorado, basically?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to see how far it goes. I think I'm coming along quicker. I mean, she said the biggest prereq to do that was just the incision had to be like really like good and healed pretty much before start putting that kind of pressure on it. But
You want me to slap it a few times, see how it feels?
no, I mean, I think it's doing pretty good. I don't think it could be doing much better. I mean, my therapist thinks that this is one of the best scar jobs she's ever seen. Pretty proud of it.
Nice.
So we're getting there. I mean, still is annoying, but the other day I had, what was it, like Tuesday? Yeah, because I had therapy on Monday and Wednesday this week. On Tuesday, there was a good, like, 3-4 hour stretch of the day where, like, I pretty much kind of forgot I had a problem. Like, I wasn't feeling any pain or anything, and I was doing stuff kind of normally. And I'm not on, like, pain pills. Like, I'll take ibuprofen now, but I'm not on the heavy shit anymore. Decided I didn't need it and get off of it before it does anything crazy to me. So I'm off the heavies. And, I mean, pain-wise, I'm doing okay. It's just the sleeping thing. And it's weird. It's not even that much of a pain. It's enough to keep me awake. Like, it's just enough of a discomfort. So we're getting there, but that's why I'm tired. It was a long thing.
Yeah.
Why are you tired?
I haven't been sleeping well this week at all.
COVID scare?
I had a little like weird like day-long cold thing where, yeah, when I did get COVID, I woke up with a headache and tested and like immediately tested positive for COVID, last year or whenever that was. And similarly woke up with, kind of a similar headache even. Was that yesterday?
I think it was 2 days ago.
Okay. But, yeah, I had that, and, it was Tuesday, because I was giving blood, and didn't want to take Tylenol or anything, because, I gotta tell this whole story, because I was gonna give blood, and tested for COVID, and tested negative, and then took a different test, because I really didn't want to, like, go give blood if I had COVID, and, at the same time, I'm getting, like, kind of a scratchy throat.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is just, like, a cold or allergy type thing. And I go to give blood, and this has never, ever happened before. And it's unfortunate because the last time I gave blood, almost always it's get in there, sign some papers, high five some folks, in like 8 minutes or less, give them blood, done, eating my Fig Newtons, drinking my Gatorade, and then I'll go like get Whataburger or Popeyes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a good time. No muss, no fuss. Everybody wins. Last time, they messed my arm up. My right arm.
Oh,
and bruised, and it wasn't pretty, but it got better. So Tuesday, I go in to give blood, and it's going smoothly, but it's a trainee that's the phlebotomist, which is not abnormal at all, because you can get paid like better in a healthcare system than you can like at We Are Blood or whoever's doing the blood draws, because it's like a factory of get trained, get your hours in, and then go, do that next thing.
Go phlebotomize somewhere else.
Yeah. So that's not abnormal at all. And there was a, whatever. Sticks me, that wasn't, it was like on the spectrum of that sucked. It was definitely towards the more intense end of that, but it probably had like worse.
Yeah.
But I'm giving blood, and they take the sample, and it's not 2 minutes in. And she's like, I'm so sorry, I didn't something. Something to do with air in the system. Like, I think she was supposed to take the air out before blood started going into a tube or a pouch or something. But it meant they couldn't use the unit.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's not like I gave, like, a whole unit anyways.
Right.
But that sucks. This is, like, the whole point of me doing it is to, get my blood out there to help people.
Yeah.
So now I got, like, 8 weeks to do it again, which, whatever. And similar to our league asterisk, like, I haven't given blood so long, eventually some kind of asterisk is going to come along. But that was just an annoyance, because I always do look forward to giving blood. And, yeah, then I got home, took 2 leave, and it was fine. Yeah.
I wonder if we're both kind of have been affected by similar things, because, I haven't felt bad the last couple days, but for like the last 2.5 days, I have been sneezing a ton and been having like a runny nose and have to blow my nose all the time. And I don't know, I have no idea what is causing it. The only thing I can even begin to think it is it's something that kind of happens to me every year once like the weather starts to change. And we did have like 2 mornings recently where I went outside and it was like 72 degrees with the breeze and it felt like fall. Or I had that feeling of like starting fall is soon, and like had the smell of like football season, and it was real glorious.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like that first morning that there was a bit of coolness, my body was like, all right, let's start running the nose and get him sneezing a bit, and which is stupid because it's like 115 out right now.
Yeah. I know exactly the sensation you're talking about. I love that feeling. There was, on the front end of summer, I remember talking about it on here, where my brain miscategorized that same kind of feeling, because we had started having the ups and downs of like, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my brain was like, oh, football. I'm like, sorry, brain. It's not real football. And I haven't felt that yet. This week I didn't go out and do cardio at all. So Ashley commented on the other morning about the same thing, the breeze and it being cool.
Yeah.
But it was 80 something by then, even.
Right.
So that'll be fun to get. I did get a little taste of that fall is coming, football is coming. Stepped into the backyard, and from Pfluger Field, however far away it is, you can hear the marching band.
Oh, snap.
I love that.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
But I'm just so ready for the heat to be over. And I know we talk about it every single episode, but this time I had something more specific about the heat to talk about. I think it was Monday, because I think it was the day before that first real fall feeling that I got. I had to run to HEB, which is literally like a 5-minute drive from here to there. And currently my car's AC doesn't work. But it's a short jaunt. I survive. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Literally within the 5 minutes, like I always, whenever I ride around in my car, I always put my phone in like my cup holder, because it's basically like right where a cell phone holder would be in a car anyway, and it holds it really well. So that's just where I put it when I drive, because I can like keep an eye on it while I'm doing stuff. And put it there. Literally within that 5-minute drive, my whole phone got so hot that it was like, nope, I have to shut down to not kill myself.
Damn.
And I got to HEB, and it was funny because on the way out, I texted Jared if he wanted anything. Because, I mean, it's just, we do that every now and then, just be polite.
Yeah.
And then it died, and I'm like, oh, shit. If it doesn't come back on, then he asked for something, and he was really looking forward to it, and then I don't get it. It's just a whole thing. So as soon as I get to the store and I realize my phone's dead, and like I could just feel it, it's just like burning up.
Hot brick, yeah.
I get into the store and I go straight to the frozen food section and get a bag of frozen peas, and put it in my cart and put my phone on top of it.
Nice.
And walked around until it cooled down enough to where I turned the phone back on, and it was like, yep, I had to shut down because it got way too hot, but I'm good now, operating normally.
Nice.
Like, it's funny it tells me that stuff.
Yeah.
Because
maybe you didn't see the warning and you're like, why's my phone off?
Yeah. But I knew what happened because it had happened one time before. The only other time that it happened was like I was driving back from Dallas one time. Mm-hmm. So I was in the car for a long time, and it was nowhere near as hot, but I think just the direct sun, just black case, heats it up after a while. But yeah, finally got it turned back on, and then went and put the peas back in the freezer because peas are disgusting. And that's why I chose peas over everything else in the frozen section, because nobody should be eating peas.
Yeah, that makes sense. It checks out. Math adds up.
Peas, I mean, I can eat a lot of vegetables, but peas just taste like dirt to me. They're gross.
Just like peas to me. Peas definitely have a pea flavor.
Pea flavor is dirt. Like, ugh. I don't understand how, like, the whole country of England just fucking loves their peas.
Shepherd's pie, right?
Ugh. And, like, mashed peas or something is a thing over there. Ugh. Nasty.
Yeah, that was one of the things Ashley loved about Ireland, because they do that there, too.
Fucking gross. But yeah, my phone almost had heat exhaustion, or did have heat stroke. Mm-hmm. So that's fun, but hopefully it'll cool down here in a month or two.
Hey, if you Google weather 78660 like I do all the time, next week gets below 100 is our high.
I'll believe it when I see it, because like I look at it every day, and I look at our weather and weather all around the country to see like who's cool, like who's not dying, and who is. And it started out, there was like 3 days that were going to be in the 90s. One of them was like mid to low 90s, and like 3 days of rain, and I was like, okay. Yeah. And then this further we get, the highs of those days are going up, the chance of rain's going down. Mm-hmm. So like right now, what does it say? Let me see.
Do it.
Right now it says next week.
Better be good.
Tuesday, high of 96 with 40% chance of rain, which is basically means there's not going to be any rain. And then Wednesday is 98. And then it's back in the hundreds.
That 96 is going to be the 74st feeling 96.
I mean, if we actually get it, and if it's like raining that day too, it's like, it should be like a holiday. Like everybody takes off. Like, it was hilarious. It was like a week or 2 or 3 ago, maybe. Maybe not 3, maybe like 2 weeks ago. In the middle of the afternoon, just out of nowhere, like right here, we got I wouldn't even really call it a storm. I guess just a cloud built up just enough above us to like give us about 5 minutes of rain.
Oh my!
And it wasn't super hard rain, but it was some rain. Mm-hmm. I doubt you even got it because it was a real small little cloud situation. But it was enough to where we could hear it inside. And so I go outside because every time there's weather, I like run out to it because I want to experience it. Mm-hmm. Jeremy ended up coming outside, and then like I'm on our back porch. Our back porch is kind of elevated, and I guess we're kind of on a more elevated part of the land, so we can kind of like, I can see into about 10 different backyards.
Okay.
I tried not to look into them just out of privacy's sake, but it's possible. And like within that 5 minutes, almost everybody around us came out to like look at the rain. 'Cause it's like, oh my gosh, it's rain! Like it's a magical thing right now. And then it stopped and just never came back. But
dire straits.
I was talking to my dad earlier today, and he's just like, I feel so bad for you and my brother, because in like 30 years, like, you're gonna die because of the heat. Like, the world's gonna be just completely scorched.
Certainly, if it keeps up this trend. My optimism comes from 2021, not that long ago. It was awkwardly or abnormally cool.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we get one of those next year.
Yeah, I don't know. It was interesting though, just kind of on that point. I recently saw something online. Or it was on Reddit actually. It was someone posed the question to Reddit, like, what cities or metro areas do you see blowing up in terms of like population and getting bigger and stuff in the next 10 to 20 years? Mm-hmm. And pretty much everyone was talking about places like way like north in America because of global warming, because like rising seas and shit. And people were talking about like Western Michigan, like the Grand Rapids area is gonna get super big, like Madison, Wisconsin, and places like that, Minneapolis, and there's gonna be this big growth spurt up there just because of people are trying to escape the heat, which I never really thought about, like cities have always just kind of been cities. They don't really. I don't know if I've ever really witnessed a city blow up. Closest would be like Austin, because it had a really big growth and like really went from kind of like a normal state capital that's not that big compared to the other cities in the state to something pretty big, even though it's still like the fourth biggest city in the state.
In our lifetimes, yeah, it's developed a lot, but like in our adulthood, like it doesn't feel like it's changed that much.
But just to think, like, the next big place is, like, Grand Rapids is going to have, like, a big skyline or something. Or anywhere up there. It's just interesting to think about. And honestly, if I had the money to do so, I'd probably try to invest in some land up there or something. Because I could definitely see that being a thing. I mean, there's already kind of... I guess I've noticed... I don't know if it's more... it's not really weather-related as much as just, like, scenery and, I guess, weather, but not escaping things, just going to a different weather. But, like, Idaho and Montana have really started springing up just from all the rich people going out there and just making it their rich little playground.
I know that's been a thing. Like, King of the Hill made fun of it back in, like, the 2000s. So it's been going on for a while. Obviously, Yellowstone talks about that some.
A lot.
Yeah. But remote work, like when remote work was a thing before COVID, but like everybody had to like accommodate remote work for 2-ish years. And you think about the big changes we've seen in the last 20 years, like as far as the internet, and like we've seen a lot of change in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
The next 20 years, what could we get with, east of the Mississippi is like, even though it's far less land geographically, that's like where 50% plus of the nation lives.
For sure.
We could see like that change entirely with these places like Wyoming and Montana. And okay, this isn't gonna build out sprawling organically over 50 years. There's gonna be like 10 million people. We're gonna like double, quadruple the size of these cities that are here, and we're gonna do that with technology from the 2030s. Like, what is that gonna look like?
Yeah,
I'm kind of into it. But with remote work, like, yeah, you can just go anywhere now. And if you do like sales, like I do. If you do, anything but manufacturing, healthcare, you got to be there where the patients are.
I guess people have to work in warehouses and stuff. But yeah, a lot of jobs really don't have to. You don't have to go anywhere to do them, which is definitely something on my list to do as an adult, is try to invest in a little bit of land up there somewhere. I mean, I already plan to move like north at some point, but it seems like that wouldn't be a bad idea to scoop up a plot of land pretty cheap, and then because you can buy land real cheap in some of those places.
There's so much land in Texas that didn't make sense 20 years ago. That, like, I used to think Pflugerville was so far away from, like, downtown Austin. Really not.
Yeah. So that's fun. We're planet's gonna die.
Yeah, I try not to, again, intrinsically conservative. 2 years in a row does not a trend make. But, God, it doesn't... It's hard to say that and not be like, shut up! It's so hot!
I mean, it's something... The thing is, it's not, I guess, technically a trend yet, but we are constantly breaking records.
Yeah.
Like, historical records. I was talking to my dad, who's like 72 now, and he's like, the last 2 years have been by far and away the hottest he's ever experienced in his entire life.
That's like demonstrably true, yeah.
So, even if it's not technically a trend yet, like, it's very scary that we're breaking these records and doing it like back-to-back years.
I'll argue against myself. If last year, or if 2021 is the outlier, then one data point out of the trend does not break a trend.
This is very true.
But yeah, definitely, like, should your ears be perked up? Should you be on alert? I think so. If we don't break this fever. I mean, did you see ERCOT sent out a voluntary don't use energy if you can help it?
They're always saying that shit, and I always laugh.
I don't always notice it. I definitely noticed it today.
Here's a question, though,
Mm-hmm.
just brain exercise. Do you think that the coolness of 2021 could have had anything to do with the pandemic and people, like, the amount of human activity dropping at, like, super significantly?
The year before in 2020?
I mean, it went into 21.
Well, if that were the case, I wouldn't think it would be like 2021 alone is what cooled it down, because I do think, like, human stuff takes a while to accumulate and make a difference. But the whole year of, because it's, COVID started in 2019, everybody went home March of 2020, 9 months, 12 months, because we're also talking about summer of 2021.
Right.
So 15 months of fewer car emissions, of just fewer activities generally.
Fewer flights.
Air flights.
Flights are a lot.
People talk about chemtrails as like, well, it's not mind control stuff, but you should be aware, like, jet planes are burning jet fuel above you at all times.
It was wild. I had an old boss who was pretty big into aviation, and I never really knew this, but he shared an actual, like, meteorological map or something of the U.S. Of, like, daily quote-unquote chemtrails, like just the trails that planes make. And I mean, I thought, okay, yeah, you'd have a good number of them. The entire map was just completely blanketed with them.
Oh yeah, I mean, you've seen the flights, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was even more than I thought. Not, like, I'm aware of how many flights go on a day, but just... And then he had, like, maps of, like, that compared to, like, during COVID when there were so many fewer. And it was just a dramatic difference.
This theory might rival your super terrestrial theory.
I don't know. I think this one might be a little weaker than the super terrestrial.
Disprove it, though.
Yeah, I mean... we'll see.
I wonder if anybody's said anything about that. Would you be into Googling that? Let's test the internet.
Alright, what do I see? Was the summer of 2021 cooler because of the pandemic?
Oh.
2021 temperature drop may be possibly due to a resumption of activity that produces aerosols in the atmosphere.
The pandemic-based drop in carbon dioxide production didn't have a cooling effect.
Okay.
I mean,
But, so stopping everything didn't cool it down, but the restart of everything somehow cooled it down for a minute and then just cranked things up.
I'm surprised I can say that definitively, like 2 years on.
I mean, I can kind of understand it because, like, global temperature is not something that can easily be changed. Like, you can't easily affect it.
When you asked if it was people related, I have heard, and this might take this with a heap of salt. I have heard that there was like an underwater volcanic eruption this year that folks were blaming the heat on. Have you heard anything like that?
No.
That's something that I could see like affecting temperatures, is that amount of CO2 output, that amount of chaos.
I will say this is the first year ever I've heard of like people talking about like the surface temperature of like oceans, like on beaches being unswimmable, like they're so hot. Like 90, 100 degree water.
That's not good. It's just cooking you a little bit.
Like in the ocean. And to change the ocean's temperature, that's even harder to do than changing air temperature.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thing to think about.
That's a scary thing to think about.
How many years is it going to be until people start selling house covers? Like giant, like think the Woodlands Pavilion cover type tents going up over houses to provide shade and keep the heat
block the
off.
sun in the harsh parts of the day, Simpson style.
Yeah, but I mean on like a house to house, building to building basis.
Nah, it'd have to be like your whole HOA pitches in.
Well,
even then, they probably wouldn't let you because they have like the city like mandates billboards and that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, how long until they'd have to change those laws to keep
right.
people to like stay there? And it'd have to be like on an individual basis because they'd have to be small enough for you to retract or actually let some sun through so all the plants don't die from no sun and all the grass.
This is a fun thought experiment. If like when people were talking about the sun baking the earth, we're gonna have to live underground. If we're like, fuck no, we're just gonna put a big like solar shade. Not going underground, you idiots. I do think it would be like a community instead of a house to house thing, because I think if it was house to house, you'd have like neighbors going after each other. Like, I don't agree with that. Put your thing down, it's messing with my TV broadcast. That kind of thing. But it's not crazy.
I mean, I wish we had one. I mean, knock on wood, our house has stayed fairly cool this whole summer, and the AC, even though it sounds like a V8 diesel engine running the whole time, and it's been sounding like that for years, it hasn't died yet.
That's something.
Well, it hasn't died this year. It's died almost every year since that we've lived here, at least once, but not this year yet.
We same. House has stayed cool. The garage, we've talked about our battle against nature in there. We put up some insulation on the garage door, and I was skeptical it would make a difference because it never felt like the garage door was that hot. But putting the insulation on has made like a 2 degree difference, which trying to get 10 degrees, that's something.
It's 20%.
We're getting better. Right now, the portable AC vents underneath the garage, so we have like the garage door kind of propped up, and it's obviously not like sealed. So we're getting a better way to do that. That's gonna let less air out of the garage. And then the same bubble wrap sort of insulation thing that we're using on the garage door. I'm gonna get a big roll of that and put that in the against the roof in the attic to see if that helps too. Although our attic doesn't really feel that hot. for as hot as I know attics can get.
Yeah, I've been in some hot attics.
Yeah. Ugh. Hot.
Yeah.
You know what's probably not hot? Bill's house.
I can tell you exactly the temperature at Bill's house.
Let's go.
70 degrees right now. Let's see what their 10 days looking like. So for the next 6 days, the high is around 74, 75. And then after that, the highs drop to like 68, 66.
My goodness.
So that's... I'm super excited for that.
I feel like I'm benefiting just from knowing that it's not that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it helps. Like, I know it's kind of torture looking at the weather around the country all the time. Because, like, in my weather thing on my phone, you can save up to, like, 8 or 10 locations to just have on your screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it all the time, every day, and I guess, just for example, the places I have on here, I have here, of course, Houston, just because it's hometown, just want to see what's going on in Houston.
What you got?
Right now it's 103 in Houston.
Okay.
And that's gotta suck, because I'm sure the humidity is a lot worse than it is here.
It's, I think it's marching band season. If the kids are doing it here, I bet they're doing it there too.
That's another thing, like, how are marching bands and, like, kids playing football, like, just not dying every single day?
Well, that's the thing, Kelly. And some of them do. Like, literally every summer, kids are lost to football. And we're like, football.
Other place I have Ypsilanti, Michigan, which is my dad's hometown, and that's near Detroit and Ann Arbor and where my cousins live, so it's currently 70 there. I have Las Vegas, and that's 103 there. I have San Francisco, because San Francisco's always just, like, balling out.
I was going to say 68. What do you got?
It's 68.
Nice. I only know that because Jeremy, when he went to go see Abby last summer, and he was like, guess the temperature there. And I was like, I don't know, 98? And he was like, it's like 68. And I was like, bullshit! But okay, go on.
I have Seattle, because it's Seattle, and I also have Wenatchee, Washington, because that's where I'm eyeing to move right now. But apparently right now that area of the country is experiencing a very big heat wave itself.
I wasn't sure when we started talking about Colorado, because I know they get fires. I was like, is it going to be, like, hot there too? So I'm glad that that's not the case.
Well, fire doesn't necessarily have anything to do with heat. It's just dryness.
Dryness, yeah. That's fair.
But, like, yesterday or the day before in Wenatchee, Washington, the high was, like, 108, which is absolutely wild.
That is wild. Jeez.
I mean, today the high is 100, but it's dying off, and then now for the next 10 days after that, pretty much, the high is in the mid to high 80s. So it was just like, they got like 5 days of just brutal heat, and then now it's gone. Which, that's okay. Like, if I lived in that situation, I'd be like, okay, cool, we get to fuck with some weather for a few days.
Yeah.
And then it goes away. But this living months on end in this is brutal.
It is kind of like being on another planet.
And then where else do I have? I have Fairbank, Iowa, just to check on Corey and Jamie and see what their weather's like. It's currently 74 there.
It's 70 in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
What? Why Waukesha, Wisconsin?
Family significance.
Okay. And then I have Bill's house, Midland, Colorado. So I'm always looking at that stuff. But it makes me, the whole reason I brought that up was like, it makes me feel good knowing there are places that aren't just dying right now.
Yeah.
So, like, I can find a place to live, like, the rest of my life that won't be completely horrible. Like, if I had kids, then they're screwed. So, glad I don't.
Kids adapt.
I don't know if you can adapt to 120 degree temperatures.
It's like from a Always Sunny episode. He'll adapt. He'll adapt to reading.
Yeah. Got for our fantasy league. We're setting the draft order this weekend.
Yes.
Do you want to come over for that, or you want me to do that solo?
No, I'll come over. We'll do some pomp and circumstance. I'll get a. Last year we released a video. Do we want to do any video stuff?
Quite possibly.
Do you want to make fun of how hot it is?
I mean, I think we have to. I think we're to the age where we have to bring it up in every possible way we can.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure out something fun to do.
Yeah, I'll get the PowerPoint ready as far as like the numbers and jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
Get that part, which I guess is mostly done already.
Maybe we can have like a celebratory drink or something.
Yeah.
I've been, for the last week or so, I watched something recently and it just kind of piqued my interest. Still have a completely unopened bottle of Lagavulin 11-year-old single malt Scotch Nick Offerman edition.
Right.
That I haven't opened, and it's one of those things I see it all the time, and I'm like, I mean, it's not a cheap bottle.
Right.
Like, I know how much it costs. It's probably it's like $120 bottle of Scotch, which isn't ridiculous, but that's more than I ever would spend or whatever. And it's like, I want to try it, I want to drink it, but it feels like you can't just do that on like a Tuesday. Like, you need to have a really good reason, like some kind of occasion. Mm-hmm. And also felt like I'd want to share it with somebody. Mm-hmm. And you're like the only other person I know in my life that could probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
So maybe we can include that at least somewhere in the football season that we can break into it.
Okay.
Something good. I just want to, because I really want to try it, but I also just kind of don't want to open it because I just want to keep it. Yeah.
But that's, it's like those stories. You can't take it with you.
Exactly. And it's not like it's really getting any better. Like, the aging, that happens in casks. That doesn't happen in bottles.
Yeah, I get that.
So, we'll figure that out.
That's exciting, though. And man, I'm just so ready to go to Colorado. I've done, we don't talk about work on this thing, but I've had some big work changes. And I'm ready to just kind of turn my brain off for a while.
Yeah.
And not think about work for a while.
I'm really looking forward to disconnecting pretty hard. Mm-hmm. And just enjoying some beautiful scenery and some cooler temperatures. It's funny because, like, I never really thought the whole process of like picking where we would stay in Colorado. One of my personal wants for it was a hot tub. Mm-hmm. But the whole time I was thinking, like, I want a hot tub, but I only want it to I want it so I can like soak my whole body in water, like almost like a pool. Mm-hmm. But I don't want it to be hot because it's like I never really thought it was going to be cold. It's like, I wonder if you can just turn the temperature down a lot to where it's like not very hot.
Yeah.
But I mean, now looking at some of these temperatures, there's a potential in a month, which is like when we'll be there, there might be some lows like in the 40s.
Yeah.
Which would then necessitate some heat, which would be real fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting feelings thinking about it.
I was also, just back to talking about the Scotch, I was like, can I bring that to Colorado? Because I think that would be a beautiful place to break it open and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But,
I think it would only make sense if we could drink the whole bottle, and that doesn't seem likely.
I don't think it's impossible, like, between you and me over 3 nights.
Seems like it would have to be the focus. Like, we would have to, like, put in our work.
Mm.
We'll think about it.
Yeah. I mean, at the height of my drinking, like, I could kill half a bottle of any liquor, like that size bottle, in a night by myself. Mm-hmm. These days, I'm nowhere near, like, I haven't drank near as much. I don't drink near as much anymore, so I wouldn't even try, but...
Similarly, like, for whiskey or scotch, I would be, like, sipping, what am I, like 4 fingers the entire night. Mm. And that's not going to get it done.
Yeah, no. But it's also something you don't want to, like, take shots of either.
No. New drinking thing, I mean, I've been drinking margaritas predominantly for the last however long. And there's a margarita mix that's like 10 calories per serving. It's called No Worries. HEB used to sell it. The distributor doesn't want to distribute it at HEB anymore for whatever reason. So that like perfect margarita mix is gone. So I went into Costco's non-affiliated liquor store that's next door to see if they had anything similar, and they don't. But they did have I think it's Deep Eddy. They had a vodka that is lime flavored.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is interesting. So sweet tea and mixing some of that in there. It's a great kind of Arnold Palmer-y sort of flavor.
Yeah.
And it sneaks up on you. But even that's like 3 shots. And like that's the only thing I drink that night. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, we'll see. I mean, even if I don't bring this bottle, I feel like maybe stopping by a liquor store and getting like a nice-ish bottle of like a sipping liquor to like have and enjoy outside while looking at trees and mountains and bears and meese.
I bet has Jared drank that kind of stuff before? I know he's like drink vodka.
He doesn't like anything with flavor.
Okay.
That's why he goes to vodka, because it's the least flavor of any alcohol. It was just okay. Last thing I'll talk about alcohol here. I had a wildly random part of a dream recently where I drank some kind of vodka, and it was like the best tasting vodka I've ever had. Which is weird because I don't like any flavor of vodka. I've had a bunch. I've had expensive vodkas. All of it's disgusting to me. But and I don't ever think about I've never think about drinking vodka. Like if I'm going to drink, the only time I would drink vodka if it's like the only thing there and like I just really wanted to drink something. I would never go and buy it for myself anymore. And I just had a weird dream that was like I found a vodka and I really enjoyed it. I woke up and I was like, "What the fuck was that about?" I don't drink vodka. I like Scotch and tequila if I'm drinking liquors, and Irish whiskey. No American whiskeys though. Too sweet.
I like a sweet whiskey. There's a thing I do with, I would never put my name on this thing that I do. Because people who really care about whiskey, Scotch, and bourbon would throw up and punch me.
I mean, I definitely, there's some things around that realm that I would never say open to the public either. we can talk about it offline, because I won't get mad at you, and I don't think you'll get mad at me.
Yeah. So, KQC?
Yeah. I already sent it to you. This week we are doing a quiz called Let's See Which U.S. National Park You Should Visit Based on Your Personality.
Oh, I already like this thumbnail.
I mean, I'm a big fan of national parks, traveling, so this should be fun. You got it ready?
Let me open it in Chrome instead of... Okay, ready.
All right, question 1. Choose a summer camp activity. Horseback riding, survival training, making s'mores, exchanging friendship bracelets with new pals, learning about local plants, singing songs / performing skits,
Jeez.
rope swinging into the lake, telling ghost stories by the fire, canoeing on the lake, or crafting.
So these seem silly, but I know Ash would like learning about local plants. Like she's really, anytime we go on like a here to San Antonio trip, she brings this book, or she'll like look at plants on the side of the road and look them up and all that. So definitely these items do appeal to some people.
I mean, honestly, survival training is something that interests me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I thought that was a joke. I was like, that's not like a fun activity.
I've watched seasons of like Alone and all those things where people go out in the wilderness and they gotta survive. And it's in like Primitive Technology. Like that's really fun YouTube channel that I watch.
Yeah.
Like I never see myself going out and like with like a hatchet and like a pot and be like, all right, let's see how long I can survive in the wilderness.
What about that dude in Alaska?
He had more than just that. Like
Okay.
he built his own full-on log cabin with like
Proper tools.
Like a fireplace with proper enough tools and a fireplace to make fire, and that's something I would do. But I'm talking about just straight up survival.
Mm-hmm.
Like that guy Dick Prenicky is who you're talking about in Alaska. He had like supplies flown into him every once in a while, like that. Different, but it's still like I would like to have that information. I would like to know how to do certain things. So if in the event I needed that information, I had it.
Got it.
Just because I always like to be prepared, even though I was never in Boy Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably gonna go with that.
Can you guess which one I'm gonna go with?
Probably riding.
That's right.
You and any large animal.
Yes, that's exactly what
I just always put it together.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, the scenery and like getting from point A to point B, that's cool. But you got a big friend. You got a big old friend with you all day.
Horses a lot of responsibility, man.
I'm about it.
All right.
You're their responsibility too. They love you.
See, I guess it's possible, but for the most part, if you're just hopping on a horse you never met, I don't think he gives two shits about you.
Nah. You sniff his ears, he sniffs your ears, you're good to go.
All right, question number 2. Choose a day camp you'd attend.
Cool.
Art camp, photography camp, woodworking camp, team sports, discovery camp, whatever that means.
It's like a science-oriented thing.
Gaming/tech camp, modeling/fashion, gymnastics, dance, or environmental heroes camp. Well, I immediately know which one I would choose, and that's woodworking camp.
Nice.
Woodworking is something I've wanted to get into for years and years, but it's just, to do it, you need a lot of tools, and tools are not cheap.
Yeah.
So, at some point, like, I don't know if you were aware of this, but like Corey's dad is actually a fairly accomplished like amateur woodworker.
Okay.
Like he's built like dressers and like I remember back at his house in Imperial Oaks, Corey told me like most of the furniture in the house was built by his dad.
Oh, that's dope.
It was like quality, and that seems like something that'd be just so fun. Just like go out into a workshop or a garage that wasn't too hot, and you have all the tools, and you have plenty of wood, and you just put on some music or a podcast, and just make some shit out of wood.
Well, are you thinking of Nick Offerman again?
I mean, me and him have a lot of things in common. Yeah.
Photography camp for me.
Lame.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right. Next question. Pick an animal you'd love to spot on your trip.
Oh, these are great questions.
We got raccoon, coyote, moose, mountain lion, bison, bowhead whale, elk, wild horses, monk seal, or grizzly bear.
Wow.
So immediately there are 3 of those that I'm going to have to choose from that I think would be really cool to see.
And those are?
So my 3, in no order, I'm still trying to figure it out, would be bison, wild horses, and grizzly bear. The thing about grizzly bear is, like, that shit'll kill you.
That's not a, yeah.
So, you want to see that, like, it needs to be on the other side of a river or, like, really far away. I do not want to see one up close. I have no want to be close to a grizzly bear.
They climb trees. They don't care if you zigzag.
They're fast, and they are strong, and they do not give a fuck. So I'll probably eliminate that one. So now it's bison or wild horses.
But similarly, respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, elk and moose don't seem that different. Like, I think they're both much larger than we're led to believe. It's probably bison for me, dude. Like, I was thinking bison when I saw the thumbnail for this thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you go bison, I'll go wild horses, because there is something super majestic about just wild horses. Just running around, just as free as can possibly be. All right. Pick a way to celebrate the end of summer. Amusement park, street fair, living history museum, group trip to the zoo, water skiing / tubing, day spa and tea party, pottery painting studio, volunteering.
With a sad, sad cat in the volunteering thumbnail.
Yeah. Zip lining or barbecue and an outdoor movie.
Right.
So I will just say, all these questions that are like summer related, I have to consciously put my mind in a state. Okay, they're not talking about summer in Texas where we are. Like, they're talking about up north where right now it's in the 70s, maybe 80s.
And they're
Like everything, I immediately think this heat, and I'm like, I don't want to do pretty much any of those because they're all outside and it's way too hot.
But you're thinking, in the way that you're thinking, they're thinking, oh, pretty soon it's going to be too cold to do anything outside.
Right. So I have to adjust the way I'm thinking about it.
For me, I'm like, the first question, I was like, none of these are dumb. The animal question, I was like, some of these are dumb. Ooh. Okay. And then this one, some of these are dumb too. Like, nobody's going to say Living History Museum. I like to volunteer, but I'm not going to like make that the capstone of my summer experience. Zip lining, I guess some people like that. I know it's dumb. The zoo is cool. Amusement park is cool. Street fair is even cool. Water skiing and tubing is cool. I'm going to go water skiing and tubing.
Nice. I'm trying to decide between barbecue and an outdoor movie or amusement park. Thing is, I love barbecuing, and like right now, I'm waiting for it to cool down so I can start barbecuing again because I really want to. It's just too hot. But outdoor movies are kind of lame to me. I'm not big on the outdoor movie part. And it's funny because amusement park, the first thing I thought of when I saw it and talking about end of summer, again, I'm thinking in the Texas state of mind.
Yeah.
I remember being young and we had Astroworld, and I remember when Fright Fest came around. Mm-hmm. That's like October was like the time when summer's finally ending. Like,
yeah.
And I remember going there and having like some real fun times there.
Mm-hmm. But now you're thinking about it and like, what if the roller coaster like stops and I'm just like at the top of a roller coaster in 105-degree sunlight?
Well, yeah. If it's down here, I do not want to do that. If it's an amusement park where like it's cooler, then. You know what? I'm going to go barbecue or an outdoor movie because that's the closest to something I actually am actively thinking about.
Nice.
Next question. Pick a non-U.S. trip you'd plan. Wine and spa tour in New Zealand. Surfing in Costa Rica. Tour castles in Ireland. Rafting in Ecuador. Lantern making in Vietnam. Musical festival in Jamaica. Horse trekking in Mongolia, safari in Botswana, Disneyland Paris, or spiritual retreat in India.
All right, these are pretty good.
There's multiple of these that I want to do.
Yeah.
But there's one that immediately jumped out when I saw it and read it.
Safari in Botswana?
No, that's actually number 2 for me.
That's number 1 for me.
Me, number 1 is tour castles in Ireland.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess it would probably be number 2 for me.
All right.
Choose New Zealand. Is that not on your list of places to go to?
It absolutely is. Like I said, there's multiple of these that I really want to go to. I would love. Okay, it's probably easier for me to say places on here that I really wouldn't care to go, or like actively work toward going to until I knocked off a ton of other places. Be Ecuador. Don't care too much about that.
If I'm going to Ecuador, I'm going to Galapagos.
I mean, Disneyland Paris, like, I want to go to Paris, but I don't know if I necessarily want to go to Disneyland Paris.
I want to go to France, but I don't know if I want to go to Paris.
Yeah, fair. And then, spiritual retreat in India. I really want to see the Taj Mahal at some point, but that's like the only part of India that I really have any want to go to.
I know people from India that are like, don't go to India.
I believe it.
Yeah. New Zealand, I think I would like the geographical eye candy, but I can't pass up the opportunity to see the zoonautical, the animal splendor of a safari in Botswana.
Yeah. I think the dark horse of that of all these for me would be, or one that a sleeper I guess would be horse trekking in Mongolia. I think that would be pretty incredible.
I think it'd be pretty Spartan. It's big plains.
I mean, yeah, but I've seen some Mongolia stuff and it's pretty wild.
It's big history, like similar to India. Like that's a huge draw for me. Is that like people have been kicking ass in India for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enormous temples. Taj Mahal is like kind of recent in the history of cool Indian architecture and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like too many people.
Way too many. All right, next question. Choose a movie for the airplane. Eat, Pray, Love, Downton Abbey, A New Era, Thor, Love and Thunder, Pirates of the Caribbean, Tomb Raider, Inferno, Fast X, The Harder They Fall, Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, or The Goldfinch.
Is that like a 60s movie?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I know my answer.
It's Fast X, huh?
Yeah, because I'll pick it too because it wasn't that movie, but I have watched a Fast and Furious movie on an airplane before when I had other options. So
seems like an ideal airplane movie. I'll go with Pirates of the Caribbean.
That was going to be my number 2.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Choose a water-related activity. Parasailing, water park, sand sculpting contest, snorkeling, sailing lessons, reading by the pool, walking on the boardwalk, beach yoga, windsurfing, or fishing.
There's really only one of these I like, and that is snorkeling.
Yeah, the snorkeling wasn't even on my radar. The two that I'm going in between are parasailing and sailing lessons.
Cool.
And the only reason it's not 100% parasailing is because parasailing, you're along for the ride, it'd be fun, but like sailing lessons, like you're learning it. You're learning how to sail.
Mm-hmm.
And although in my younger years I never would have thought I would have any interest in sailing, I kind of feel like it might be cool, so I'm going to go sailing lessons.
Mad respect for that.
All right, next question. Choose a fun beach towel pattern. Cowboy hats and boots, hot air balloons, roller coaster, logo of your favorite sports team, chakras, rainbow, old map, records, books, or paisley.
It's just a silly question. It's old map for me.
Okay, that was one of my 2. But since you're doing that, I'll go with my other one, which is logo of my favorite sports team.
Cool.
Dang, there's a lot of questions. Choose a dish to try at a summer party. So I guess try meaning you've never had it before? I don't know, let's see. We got key lime pie, glazed ham, lobster rolls, tomato salad, vegetarian chili, grilled salmon, apple cake, sushi rolls, teriyaki chicken, corn dogs. See, the word try really messes this up for me.
My phone is frozen. There we go. Right.
And I've had pretty much all these before, so I wouldn't be trying.
Yeah. Just what looks good.
Corn dog. Classic.
Lobster roll. I love me some key lime pie though.
Okay, and finally,
Here we go.
as fall arrives, choose a class to take. How do you say that? Reiki?
Reiki healing.
Reiki, animation, fitness and coaching, journalism, video production, fashion design, choreography, world history, helicopter pilot training,
Heyo.
welding. So, okay, that pisses me off. Why don't they have airplane pilot training? Because I don't want to fly a helicopter, but I want to fly airplanes.
I mean, just because of where I am in life, video production is the one that's most appealing to me right now.
I was about to say that was one of my 2 that I'm going between, just because so I could use it in our fantasy football stuff more.
Yeah.
I'd be better at it.
I'd be doing it for lots of stuff, yeah.
But if you're going to pick that, I'll go with my other one, which is welding, which is another one of those skills that I think would just be good to have, like being able to weld stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
You got yours?
Let's see what we got. All right. Mine says, make for the saddle in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming.
Nice.
Have the ultimate Western experience and stay on a working ranch in Wyoming. Learn to work the ranch before exploring this great park by horseback. An amazing experience you won't forget.
Feel good about it?
I mean, it's not the national park that I want to visit the most, but it's definitely in like the top 5.
Cool.
So I'll definitely accept that.
Nice. Would you like to know what I got?
Yes.
Welcome Adventure in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park.
Wow.
You seem in need of some adventure. In Hawaii is like another world. Pack your camping gear and book a site on the Big Island because Mauna Loa and Kilauea await you. You will ride bikes, hike, snorkel, and more. But these volcanoes are sure to be the highlight.
The way you started reading that when you started you will ride bikes, like I thought that was the whole sentence. Like, it was just, BuzzFeed was just sure, you will ride bikes.
You will ride bikes. Bikes.
Well, I think that was one of the more fun KQCs we've had.
Indeed.
I enjoyed that. And somehow, going into this with nothing to talk about, we are over an hour.
Wow. Oh my god. That KQC took 30 minutes.
There are a lot of questions, and each one of the questions had a lot of choices.
Alright.
I had something to say about all of them, pretty much. But,
Well, we hope you enjoyed our weather and National Parks podcast.
Yeah, we'll dive more into national parks in another podcast, a little bit more in depth. But
yeah.
For now, I think I'm going to go call it.
I think we better just call it.
Everyone, thanks for listening. If you made it to the end, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, tell your friends. We love you, and good night.
Yeehaw.